The head of U.S. Space Command says the move to Huntsville is moving ahead. Speaking before the Senate Armed Services Committee this past week, General Stephen Whiting told Senator Tommy Tuberville the relocation to Redstone Arsenal is progressing, with a final decision on the construction management team expected soon. Groundbreaking for the permanent headquarters is planned for next year, with the facility expected to open around 2031. In the meantime, interim facilities at Redstone are being upgraded, including a secure operations center set to open in April. Officials say about 20 staff are already working in Huntsville, with roughly 200 expected by the end of the year.
I'm happy at the progress that we're making, and that progress will continue over the next couple of years as we work to get a significant portion of our staff there, even while the permanent headquarters is being built.
Yeah. What's the timeline on that? My understanding was 3 to 7 years. Is that correct?
For the permanent headquarters, Senator, I would expect right now that that facility will break ground next year and will come online likely in 2031. And then there'll be probably a year's worth of time that we're moving people into that facility. But that's the timeline we're currently looking at.
General Whiting also says once the permanent headquarters is complete, a significant portion of Space Command staff will be relocated to Redstone Arsenal, a process he expects to continue over the next several years.
It is almost time for the Artemis to launch, and I'm so excited to attend it. I'm here in New Orleans, about to fly into Florida to cover it live, but before I left, I had to show you guys this massive model of the Artemis rocket.
It's here because parts of the Artemis Space Launch System and crew module were produced in New Orleans at the NASA Michoud Assembly Facility, also known as America's Rocket Factory. People see this as they leave the airport to head into the Big Easy, and hopefully this week they'll be finding a place to watch the launch. So let's get into that. This is the second Artemis mission, but the first to have humans on board, sending 4 astronauts around the Earth and then around the Moon for a test flight. They'll be traveling farther than humans have ever gone into deep space. On Friday, the astronauts Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen flew NASA jets to get to the Kennedy Space Center. They are continuing to quarantine right now, but spoke with media on Sunday. I asked what their mindset has been like since arriving in Florida and now going into launch.
When those engines like this thing is moving out. So it's surreal. I almost want to say, though, I just feel relaxed. It's good to be here. We've trained for this, and we're ready to go.
My family arrived yesterday, and so now I'm not gonna, sit in my room and just study. I'm actually going to just clear my headspace so that we're ready on launch day.
We're well prepared. We're so fortunate to have an extraordinary team behind us that put us in a place where I just feel ready to go.
Think of it as a train. We are on the train right now. The system is going to get us all the way into that capsule and is going to get us launched and out to space. And our job is just to do what we've been trained for and let the training take over. So just remembering that we're here to fulfill that mission, that is what contributes to what they say. And I've found it to be true. The astronauts are the calmest people on launch day, and I feel that within our group ever since we've gotten here.
Our coverage will continue live in Florida this week, but of course, we're going to speak with the experts working on the Artemis mission and dial in on the weather factor. I'm bringing you behind the scenes into the 45th Weather Squadron's Operations Center as a launch weather officer shares how Mother Nature can impact launch and what they have to look out for. And of course, we're going to talk with those traveling in to see it happen in person along the coast of Florida. So tune in to Fox Weather. We'll be one of your sources for the latest updates and, of course, how weather could impact this launch. The first launch window opens 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time this Wednesday. I cannot wait to take you guys with me to watch it happen live. For now in New Orleans, I am Brandy Campbell for Fox Weather. I'll see you in Florida.
The pieces may be in place now for ground forces, but the president continues to emphasize talks with Iran to bring this conflict to a close. Airstrikes continue to take a heavy toll on Iran. And according to the Washington Post, U.S. involvement in the war could soon escalate.
Are you considering still putting boots on the ground, and would you do that without going to Congress?
I just have lots of alternatives.
President Trump, on his way back to Washington last night, wouldn't commit to ground forces. But if deployed, they could move to take over strategic islands in the Gulf to help restore the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz.
And American commanders and soldiers will become good food for the sharks of the Persian Gulf.
Iran vowing to fight back, even as the president reports progress in talks.
We've had very good negotiations today with Iran, getting a lot of the things that they should have given us a long time ago. We'll see how it works out, but they're very good. Moving along very nicely.
Oh, I think he's flat out lying.
One Democrat accused the president of fabricating the talks to help settle global financial markets.
Last Sunday, he realized, oh my God, I've got a financial cataclysm on Monday. So he just made it up that they're in negotiations with the Iranians.
The president, though, says talks are yielding progress, with Iran agreeing, he says, to allow 20 oil tankers through the strait today. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has said he's considering having American troops take Karg Island. That is the Iranian oil terminal in the northern part of the Persian Gulf through which the Islamic Republic ships most of its oil. Now, this came in an interview with the Financial Times. Trump considered taking Iranian oil in that interview. At the same time, he suggested that negotiations with Iran were going well. This is coming as Tehran today acknowledged receiving a 15-point ceasefire proposal from the Americans. An Iranian foreign ministry spokesman dismissed it as outlandish, but also said that there were no direct negotiations currently ongoing between Tehran and Washington. All this comes as Iran maintains its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow mouth of the Persian Gulf through which about 20% of the world's oil and natural gas passes in peacetime. Now, though, only a few ships a day are going through, and those must have Iran's permission. Now, Trump has American forces that are moving into the region. That includes U.S. Marines, as well as other paratroopers, but it remains unclear whether or not he's going to go ahead and order this operation on Karg Island, or to potentially unblock the Strait of Hormuz, or if this is just another negotiating tactic to try to get Tehran to the table and find a ceasefire to end this war.
The Supreme Court will hear arguments on Wednesday over the constitutionality of President Donald Trump's order on birthright citizenship, declaring that children born to parents who are in the United States illegally or temporarily are not American citizens. The birthright citizenship order, which Trump signed on January 20th, the first day of his second term, is part of his Republican administration's broad immigration crackdown. The justices will hear Trump's appeal of a lower court ruling that struck down the citizenship restrictions. They have not taken effect anywhere in the country. A definitive ruling is expected by early summer.
There is a plan to get these TS agents pay, hopefully by tomorrow, Tuesday.
Trump administration officials on Sunday saying TSA workers would receive paychecks in the next couple of days under the president's plan to unilaterally fund the agency. Border czar Tom Homan welcoming the development.
So yeah, it's good news because these TSA officers are struggling, working very hard and not being paid while members of Congress down on vacation getting paid.
This comes after President Donald Trump's executive action Friday ordering that TSA workers be paid immediately. One former TSA administrator says the follow-through on this is critical.
And if you say they're going to get paid and they don't after 5 weeks of not getting paid, then that would be a serious blow to the already low morale.
A spokesperson for the American Federation of Government Employees, which represents TSA officers, said Sunday that some officers had started seeing their back pay being processed for payment, but only the 2 full paychecks missed in March, not the rest of the partial payment from late February. As of late Sunday night, the funds had not yet hit their bank accounts. It's not yet clear what the immediate impact of the restart in pay will be on long airport security lines.
My concern is that out of those 3,500 who have called out over the weekend, that some of those are simply holding out and because they may have another job lined up.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
So I've owned a doggy llama for 21 years, and right now I have about 25 employees. Most of them are dog walkers. The rising gas prices have been brutal for dog walkers. I think most people don't realize that we do so much driving to walk dogs. We spend an hour picking the dogs up at their homes, an hour hiking, and then an hour driving around to drop them off at home again. So it's a lot of time in the car. It's been really hard. I just paid $6.19 per gallon today. Recently, gas prices were $4 something. So that's a massive increase for us. Everybody's feeling it. We unfortunately have to raise prices. We're probably going to do it May 1st. And a large part of that is gas prices.
Okay. I started Uber driving in June of 2024. It's been almost 2 years. I work 5 days a week, generally 8 hours a day. Gas prices are over $5, and I had been getting gas for under $4, so it has gone up immensely. I am probably paying $50 more per week on fuel. When I pay extra for gas, yes, it's me absorbing the cost, and in order to compensate for that extra $200, I have to work extra hours. We're all suffering, so we just do the best we can while we're out here. Everybody's feeling it.
It's no secret, it's a lot easier to see me now than now. And apparently this is an issue that a lot of drivers are dealing with too. You feel like you have been blinded by other people's headlights?
Oh yeah, being a passenger, yeah. And even if I'm sitting in the back, because they're so strong.
They're bright. I don't want to cuss, but they're very bright.
It makes me nervous when I come across that just because I'm like, okay, I'm kind of flying a little bit blind here.
Here's the deal. A new survey from AAA found that 6 in 10 drivers say headlight glare, mostly from oncoming cars, is a concern for them. 73% of those people say they think the problem has gotten worse over the past decade, and AAA says the problem is driven by several factors, including new headlight technologies and taller vehicle designs. The survey also found that 2-lane roads are particularly problematic for drivers dealing with glare, and that drivers who wear prescription glasses experience more glare than those who don't.
The reality is, like all of these evolving automotive technologies that we're seeing, many that are certainly designed to make us safer on the roadways, some of them, while making us safe in some regards, certainly pose other challenges.
And now I do also want to mention the glare isn't necessarily leading to crashes. In a study that was published last October by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, they found that while there are a lot of complaints about today's headlights, glare, they said, is only implicated in a very small percentage of nighttime crashes.
It's all the rage, consuming collagen to turn back time by tightening and hydrating skin. But is it worth the hype?
Some studies have shown significant benefits from using collagen supplements, but the evidence is very mixed.
Registered dietitian Julia Zumpano with Cleveland Clinic says consuming collagen through a powder, pill, liquid, or gummy will provide you amino acids and proteins of which collagen is composed. But she says it's still unclear whether supplements directly boost the body's collagen production.
So really what we're trying to emphasize is more lifestyle habits.
Zumpano says you can improve your skin naturally by avoiding smoking, limiting UV light exposure, and having a healthy, well-balanced diet rich in protein.
So amino acids combined with vitamin C, zinc, and copper are all needed in the process of making collagen. So the combination of all those nutrients together really produces collagen.
Zumpano says some foods to consider for collagen include vitamin C-rich items like oranges, strawberries, bell peppers, and broccoli. Foods with amino acids including mushrooms, cabbage, asparagus, peanuts, fish, red meat, turkey, chicken, pork skin, and granola. Copper and zinc are found in foods like nuts and seeds, liver, lobster, oysters, and leafy greens.
You can pretty much get all that you need through your dietary sources.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
With temperatures warming up and the sun staying out longer, medical experts say millions of people will be soaking up more ultraviolet rays as they spend more time outside. But as spring keeps kicking into gear, doctors say so should your sunscreen routine.
So sun protection is one of the most important preventative health measures that we can take into our daily lives. What people often don't realize is that skin cancer is the most common type of cancer in the United States and worldwide.
But from creams to sprays to sticks and beyond, what kind of sunscreen should you go for?
It really doesn't matter so much. What's most important is that you find something that works for you, something that you like to wear and will remember to reapply.
Doctors recommend looking for products with broad spectrum coverage.
That means it covers against both UVA and UVB rays. Both are important to protect against skin cancer, but your UVA rays is what really contributes to aging, and UVB contributes to sunburns.
And when it comes to SPF,
whether it's an SPF 30 or SPF 60, neither of those will work if you're not consistently reapplying. And we recommend at least every 2 hours, if not more.
Meanwhile, with data indicating 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by the time they're 70, early detection is key.
The best thing to do is to make sure you're getting your skin checks regularly with the primary care provider or with the dermatologist to do a full head-to-toe skin check. That's including the top of the head, which is a place people don't often think about because it's covered by hair and we can't see it very well.
Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
BTS is back on top of the Billboard 200 chart. The reunited K-pop group's Arirang had the biggest sales week for an album by a group in more than 10 years.
Change happens when a few determined individuals make it happen. We need to take matters into our own hands.
Ed Baldwin has changed plenty over the 5 seasons of For All Mankind. With each season set a decade or so apart, Joel Kinnaman's character has aged almost half a century since the series began.
To believably portray a man much, much older than the character, than he is, the actor playing him, is no easy task. And the amount of time and energy Joel put into that, and our makeup team, our incredible makeup team, you know, it's like 4 hours in the chair. It's not just about the looks, it's about his voice, the way he walks, his posture. I mean, it really helps sell not only his performance, but I think this idea of time passing, which is so essential to the show.
For All Mankind Season 5 launched Friday on Apple TV. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel. BTS is back on top of the Billboard 200 chart. The reunited K-pop group's Arirang had the biggest sales week for an album by a group in more than 10 years.
Change happens when a few determined individuals make it happen. We need to take matters into our own hands.
Ed Baldwin has changed plenty over the 5 seasons of For All Mankind. With each season set a decade or so apart, Joel Kinnaman's character has aged almost half a century since the series began.
To believably portray a man much, much older than the character, than he is, the actor playing him, is no easy task. And the amount of time and energy Joel put into that, and our makeup team, our incredible makeup team, you know, it's like 4 hours in the chair. It's not just about the looks, it's about his voice, the way he walks, his posture. I mean, it really helps sell not only his performance, but I think this idea of time passing, which is so essential to the show.
For All Mankind, Season 5 launched Friday on Apple TV. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
It's no secret that Vietnam veterans didn't get a warm welcome home.
I can't use the words I'd like to use. It was crappy.
We had to struggle. Our families had to struggle. The country was not oriented towards the military at all. And that's a part, I think, that was the most hurtful, because we were totally committed.
That's one of the reasons the city of Scottsdale hosted a community-wide show of appreciation for them Sunday on National Vietnam Veterans Day.
This is a welcome home ceremony, so it's very informal. Give a chance for those veterans to come together and share and just be together.
The day included a free lunch, photo ops with a helicopter which flew combat missions in Vietnam, and a keynote speaker, Vietnam veteran Francisco Moreno, a former U.S. paratrooper and helicopter pilot whose service spanned some of the most significant chapters of American history.
I was with a force that went to Little Rock, Arkansas, when General Eisenhower, or President Eisenhower, integrated Little Rock with a Little Rock 8. We made sure that the students got in the classroom.
In Vietnam, Moreno flew 14 missions into an active combat zone to evacuate wounded soldiers, rescuing 33 service members and earning a Silver Star in the process. He shared his hopes for the country with us.
I think that it's important that people know that we need to get our society oriented towards service for the country, where people will consider what it takes to protect this country and step forward and do their share. And I don't think we have that right now.
Gerald Hughes served with the Navy in Vietnam. It's still emotional for him to talk about.
I was 17 when I went in.
His and Moreno's stories are why veteran and chair of Scottsdale's Veterans Advisory Commission, Justin Lehman, says days like this are so important.
So they didn't share their stories, and I think it's important for them to have that chance to share their story publicly.
Taylor Wirtz, Fox 10 News.
Incredible video captured in Australia went viral after it showed the skies and pretty much everything else turn an ominous shade of blood red as an intense weather system was closing in. Tropical cyclone Narelle stirred up dust storms that painted the skies of the towns Carnarvon and Shark Bay bright red, as seen by the surreal video shared by Shark Bay Caravan Park. 7 News reports power outages, inland flooding, and damaged structures were reported after the storm hit, but the Caravan Park said they were spared the brunt of it and later posted a clear-skied video saying, "What a difference 48 hours makes." Another Down Under story update, but this one from the upper Midwest of the U.S. A diaper-wearing pet kangaroo that got loose and went missing in Wisconsin has been located and is back home safe and sound. WKBT reports Chesney, the denim diaper sporting marsupial, got loose from his enclosure at Sunshine Farm in Necedah after he reportedly got spooked by some barking dogs. The public was notified to keep an eye out, but not to approach Chesney, and after a collab with a local aerial drone search team turned up the roo on the run, the Juneau County Sheriff's Office said he was safely collected and returned to his owners. The Sheriff's Office also posted a funny update saying social media algorithms have now turned the department's feeds into nothing but adorable kangaroo news. Finally, a surreal sight illuminated at night as officials in China shared a look at the newly unveiled world's longest outdoor escalator in Chongqing. The staggering structure is comprised of 21 combined escalators that span nearly 3,000 feet in length and climb the height of an 80-story building. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
From floppy disks to FaceTime, Apple is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. The tech giant kicked off celebrations with a performance by Grammy winner Alicia Keys at Grand Central Station in New York. Apple then taking the festivities worldwide with special events in China, Thailand, South Korea. The party makes its way back to Apple Park in Cupertino, California for the company's official anniversary, April 1st. But it all began back in 1976 with these two guys. Steve Jobs was the marketing genius behind propelling Apple Computer to its now $3.7 trillion valuation. Steve Wozniak was the engineering brain behind it all, inventing the company's first computers, Apple I and Apple II. But lately, Wozniak has been raising concerns about artificial intelligence, warning it may not yet deliver the reliability and human understanding that people expect. Wozniak said the systems often fail to answer questions directly, instead offering broad or unrelated information that misses the user's true need. Wozniak suggests growing dependence on automated systems could change how people process information and solve problems.
Grab Starbucks near Terminal 2. Java Jet Fuel.
There's no slowing down of AI spending, though. Companies like Meta and Amazon are dumping billions into data centers and other equipment needed to power their AI efforts. In New York, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True Crime Warrior Style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro, the Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
But I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker-Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.